Spectacular or ordinary? Which do you want? Spectacular or ordinary? I want spectacular. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. So I woke up this morning and I don't know why I got thinking about my antiques. And a couple months ago, I had happened to go to my favorite place that I usually buy antiques. And they're very, very reasonable. They donate all the proceeds back to the local community. And so I like to shop there. But I have so many antiques and I have no more room. So I kind of quit going. I stop there now and then if it's convenient. And so it's not part of my daily routine that I used to do. And often when you have a goal, sometimes you've got to do it routinely and daily so that you don't miss out on opportunities. But right now, I'm not looking for those opportunities of collecting more antiques. But when I saw these two pieces that had been sold, but they were waiting to be picked up or delivered to the people who bought them, I said, those were the most spectacular pieces I have ever seen come through this shop. Now, if I had seen them first and bought them, I would have had to make room by selling or giving away, or doing something with a couple of the antiques I had because I have no more room for them, and those were big pieces. And for me now, the reason I quit going so much is because I don't need any more routine, ordinary antiques. No matter how beautiful and how nice, I don't need any more. I'm beginning to purge in my life in a good way, meaning I'm streamlining and I'm keeping the things that really matter in my life, but I'm kind of getting rid of things that are, kind of cluttery, that are nice, but I don't need and I have no emotional attachment to or anything like that. And so if I were to have bought those pieces, I would have had to make room by probably getting rid of a few of my antiques that I presently have. And so I got to thinking now, if I have an opportunity like that again, which comes far and few between, but sometimes they do, the more you're out there, the more opportunities are going to present itself. Right now, I'm not out there looking, so obviously the opportunities may come, they may not. But if they do, would I go and get it? Sure, I would. I would go and get it. But then, because it's spectacular, but then I would have to take my ordinary antique and either give it to one of my kids or, sell it or whatever. And so that I would have room for spectacular. So in other words, that's how I got to thinking about this whole spectacular versus ordinary. So often we fill our lives up with ordinary, which can be okay, but I'm at that level past 60 years old. I only want to fill my life up with spectacular. And I'm not just talking about material things. I'm talking about just the way I live life. I want to enjoy my life. I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want to have my body. I want my body to be spectacular. So I've got to work out. I got to give effort. I got to exercise and take care of my body and eat right and do all the things that are right, which I do. Because I want to have a spectacular, healthy, fit, great looking body. I want to take care of my looks. I don't want to be ordinary. I want to be spectacular. You can be uniquely spectacular. You don't have to look like anyone else, but be spectacular at being you. If I'm going to go to a job, I want a job I love. I was talking to someone this morning about I've had jobs that were spectacular and I've had jobs that I absolutely did not like. And I know the big difference. And at this stage of life, I want to only go to a job that I love, that I'm excited about going to. I don't want to have to go to a job I don't like. There's been enough times in my life that I had to. I only want to go to spectacular. I want to have spectacular relationships. So in order to have spectacular relationships, I've got to create them. I've got to pour energy into my important relationships that I want to be spectacular. Okay, I'm not going to sit around waiting for someone else to make them spectacular. Maybe they'll get on board once I start. Either way, it's up to me to make it spectacular. If you want to begin to have an exciting life, a spectacular life, then you're going to have to create it. It takes effort. You can settle for dull, boring, and ordinary, or you can create spectacular in your marriage, in your relationships, in your physical fitness, in your health, in your looks, in your mannerisms, in the way you talk, in the way you sign your signature. So in other words, I want spectacular. I have enough ordinary, and I love my ordinary too. There's nothing wrong with ordinary. I love ordinary too. And yet, in some areas of my life, I want spectacular. So if I'm going to buy another antique, I'm just not going to buy a regular antique. I'm going to get me a spectacular one. Otherwise, I don't want it. I don't need it. I'm getting rid of stuff. So it would have to be spectacular. Sometimes we settle for ordinary when we're hungry, when we're desperate, when we settle for an ordinary job because we've got to pay the bills and we can't find anything else. But we don't want to stay there. We ultimately want to move to spectacular. And that's what I did in my life. Sometimes I took an ordinary job to pay the bills. And then in the midst of all that, I trained myself. I got myself trained. I put in applications. I went on interviews to get a spectacular job. I didn't stay stuck on that job that was not where I wanted to be. I remember many years ago, I was working with a lady who had worked from the time she was 20 to the time she was 38, beautiful. And it wasn't a place for a young person to be working. And I said to her, I said, you've wasted all these years there. Now, granted, I probably shouldn't have said that. 2 days later, she ended up quitting after 18 years. I don't know if it had anything to do with that. I said, you've wasted so much time here. You're still young. You're still beautiful. Get out where the opportunities are. But I think she knew that all along. She had wasted her time there on a dead-end job. And so I'm not suggesting to anyone to quit their job. I'm not suggesting to anyone to give up, something. I'm saying create what it is that you want. Sometimes you can do it right where you're at. You can take that ordinary job and make it extraordinary just by changing your own attitude and your own way of doing things. Sometimes the opportunities are right where we're at, but we've got to create the right energy, the right momentum, and put in the right input in order to get to that next level. Sometimes we don't have to move. Sometimes we can stay right where we're at and embrace where we're at rather than say, well, I'm going to move somewhere else because I'm bored. Sometimes right where you're at is fantastic. You can make it spectacular. Clean up your house, clean up your car, clean up your life, clean up your relationships, shine them up, polish them up, make them spectacular. Sometimes you don't have to move or find a new relationship or find a new job. Sometimes you can make what you have spectacular. Either way, I want life to be spectacular, if at all possible. And I know it's possible. It's just up to me to create it. From my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope to talk to you soon again. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and shout out my channel. And I will talk to you all soon from my beautiful, beautiful day out here on Grandma's porch. And I did do my 5-mile run. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye. Porch, a place to relax and a place to enjoy.